What's good, Detroit Sports Nation? I am Eric Vincent, your host here at the DSN News Desk, back again to chop it up with you, the best fan base in the world. I appreciate your time. And if you can't tell, I'm in a hell of a mood tonight, man. I'm feeling good off of what the Detroit Pistons did in their regular season opener, which lived up to all the hype, which lived up to all the excitement. Everybody got their money's worth with an amazing 113-109 victory by the Detroit Pistons. Oh my God, it was such a blast, man. If you can see, still rocking the shirt. Well done by LCA. They gave these out to open up the game. And before we even get to the game details, I gotta give so much love and so much salute to the crowd tonight, man. It felt so good feeling a playoff type atmosphere, feeling a sold out type atmosphere in a Piston basketball game again. It was so much fun being at this game. Look, it wasn't beautiful from start to finish. It wasn't perfect from start to finish, but you got to see a lot of good and exciting basketball, and the crowd stood into it the entire time, man. It was an absolute blast. Shout out to everybody that came through LCA tonight and had a blast. Did they thing, kept the crowd turned up, stayed on the officials all night. We'll talk more about them in a little bit. But seriously, this game was so much fun to watch. Absolute 10 out of 10. A great performance from this team, and I'm super excited about what they did tonight. Again, 113-109 on the final score. Bojan Bogdanovic, the leading scorer for the Detroit Pistons with 24 points, shot 8 of 16 from the field, 6 of 10 from 3, and I ain't gonna lie, he was giving me some fits trying to watch throughout the game because Bogey, while he was very, very effective and useful in this game, he was doing a little bit too much for me. There were times where he was dribbling too much and just seemed kind of clumsy and out of control. But when the Pistons needed a bucket, especially in the second half and a little bit towards the second quarter as well, he was hitting some huge three-pointers down the stretch. He was making some big shots, caught a lot of good catch and three hits from Cade and Jaden Ivey, even caught up a couple threes where he was able to dribble and step into his own and create a nice three off the wing. I think in the face of Paolo Banchero, he was really impressive from what I saw. Again, it wasn't perfect throughout the entire game, but from the spots that he was needed, he came up huge. And that was the veteran presence that was needed by him. And again, it was a huge acquisition by Troy Weaver to land him in the offseason. And he looks like he can be a perfect fit for this team. He's really stretching the floor well, really giving a lot of good spacing in the perimeter. Very, very excited about what I saw from Bogey. Well done in the game tonight, man. Jaden Ivey, another standout performance by him. 19 points, 8 of 15 from the field. And you could just tell, Jaden Ivey had a whole different kind of dog mentality tonight. He was super excited. Like, he was on the court. Even during warm-ups, he had the hood on. You could just tell that he was ready to go. He was super excited. He was really enthused. And he played his game beautifully. We saw a lot of great drives by him. Got to the rack very well. Hit a couple three-pointers, shot 2 of 4. Again, shot super efficient, 8 of 15. Didn't really get too out of control with his dribble or his shot. Only turned the ball over 2 times. And he seemed to complement Cade Cunningham extremely well. They both brought the ball up. They both were orchestrating the offense. They both were showing the ability to pass and get others involved. And I was extremely impressed with what I saw from Jaden Ivey. He looks like the real deal. He really looks like a perfect complement to Cade Cunningham. I know it's just the first game, but we're going to give all the necessary love and compliments and admiration and respect for what we saw from this Piston team tonight, man. I was super awesome and pleased by what I saw from Jaden Ivey. Well done, man. Cade Cunningham, look, Cade likes to go on these like little slow starts in the game where he's kind of feeling the flow out. He likes getting his teammates involved. He's really passive and plays more of a role of an orchestrator in the first half. And we saw a lot of that. I only think he shot the ball like maybe 3, 4, maybe 5 times in the first half, but he really came on strong in the third and fourth quarter to get the Pistons the lead and take hold of what they needed in order to keep this game alive. 18 points by Cade, 10 assists, did a really good job of spreading the ball around. Again, he was finding Bogey on the wing, hit Isaiah Stewart for the biggest assist and the biggest shot of the day. Again, Isaiah was sitting in the corner of 20 seconds, I believe it was. Cade was driving to the hole, got his defender out of the way, drew Stu's defender to him, and then he kicked it to him for an open three in the corner that made it a 4-point game to ice the lead. Seriously, an awesome game by Cade. Again, it didn't really seem like he was hunting his shot a whole lot, but he was doing other things to keep his team involved. He was also playing some pretty good defense, too. Switched out on Franz Wagner a lot. Had to play against Paolo Banchero a lot on defense, too, which was no easy feat. Paolo looks like he's the real deal. He looks like an absolute machine, man. 27 points by him, 9 rebounds, 5 assists. An absolute monster dunk on Corey Joseph, which was super nasty. He looks like he's the real deal. It looks like, again, it was a lot of points where the Magic looked like they could pull the game away and put the Pistons away, especially early in the first quarter. The Pistons battled through a lot, whether it was Paolo's dominance offensively. It was a lot of stretches where Jalen Suggs was starting to heat up, especially in the third quarter, where he hit, I believe, like 3, maybe 4 triples straight. He was just out of this world with his hot shots. He was going crazy. Franz had a pretty good game of 20 points. The Pistons were able to battle and settle in through those runs. We know how the NBA goes. It's a game of stretches. It's a game of runs. And whoever's able to withstand them, if they get the last run, is normally the team that wins. The team that makes the most runs, the last runs, and makes the least number of mistakes, those are the teams that end up on top. And what we saw with the Detroit Pistons, you got to be nothing but pleased. Now, let's get who I really want to talk to about. Listen, everybody who said Jaylen Durance, a G League player, he needs to start in the G League, bring him on slow, let him get his feet wet, he's not ready, he's the youngest player in the league. You all were insane the whole time. I told you were insane the whole time. Insane's not even the word I want to use. It's a lot more mean words I want to use, but I'm going to be nice because I'm in a good mood today. Jaylen Durance is a dog. He can start right now. Again, I was able to entertain the argument of him not starting because Dwayne Casey just plays veterans out the gate. If you wanted to roll with the Beef Stew and Bojan or even Marvin Bagley because he played last year, I would have been fine with those arguments. But this notion that people were giving about Jaylen Durance, like he was some undrafted free agent that just picked up a basketball before the draft, made no damn sense. And he proved it tonight in just one game. Another double-double for this man. He's a walking 10 rebounds, 14 points, 10 boards, 3 blocks. Didn't even get a foul this game. No fouls. That was the problem, and that was what we were concerned about when we saw in preseason. And especially for a young big, because normally they're goaded into getting fouls very often. They use their body, they use their hands too much, they're a lot more eager than they're supposed to be, and Jaylen Durance showed that he's smarter than people give him credit for. He's more sound and ready for the game than people are giving him credit for. Stop talking about this man like he's DeAndre Jordan. Stop talking about this man like he ain't never played basketball before. Again, he's a lottery pick. You traded up to get him, and everything that he showed tonight is exactly what this team needs. Numerous putback dunks, great on the offensive glass and creating extra opportunities. And then on top of that, one of the biggest highlights of the day, putting Mo Bamba in a body bag, metaphoric body bag, basketball body bag, where he cocks back a dunk in transition and dunks on him against the and one. Jaylen Durance is everything that this team needs. If you don't want to rush him and bring him along and you want to try to give the vets their time to establish and get comfortable in their new roles, fine. But stop talking about Jaylen Durance like he's not a dog. Stop talking like he just learned how to play basketball. He's legit. He's not just legit. He's a perfect fit for this team. He's showing it in his first game already in a bit of action. Again, you don't need him to be Joel Embiid off the rip. He doesn't need to be shooting threes. He's not going to be shooting, turnaround jumpers off the block. He's not going to be playing that. He needs to do what this team needs him to do. Block shots, get rebounds, create extra opportunities on the glass, and dunk everything that the guards give you. Everything Cade gives you, everything Jay Ivey gives you, Killian Hayes, dunk it as hard as you can. he almost set LCA on fire. Cade was driving and he threw an alley-oop to Jaylen Durance, and he cocked it back, caught it with one hand, and dunked it off the back iron and missed it. The crowd was going crazy because they figured that it was going to be an unbelievable highlight coming up. Luckily, it was a Jaden Ivey and one that followed, which still got the crowd hyped. But, man, that play alone, that would have set me and the rest of the arena on fire, man. I'm telling you, this game was so much fun to watch. And this was really cool. I was nervous coming into this game. Again, I was really worried about the thin depth that the bench had. Like, they didn't really play that good of a game outside of what Jaylen Durance did. There were some pretty good buckets by Corey Joseph that he shot. Killian Hayes didn't really get his shot going much. Did do a good job passing and did play some pretty good defense. But outside of that, really wasn't much of a factor offensively. And I was pretty nervous about that. But again, the Pistons were able to withstand the runs and the adversity that they faced. Orlando's a good team. There's a lot of talent on that team. They're on a similar trajectory as the Pistons. They're both young, rebuilding, and super exciting. Whether it was LCA that gave them the home advantage, whether it was their ability to just settle in and take good shots and get necessary stops on defense, whatever it was, this was a super impressive game. Now, it's just the first game of the season, but what better way to start out your regular season than this, huh? There's no better way, especially with the dramatics. It wasn't a beatdown. It wasn't a blowout. It was a close game where they were both going nip and tuck back and forth. And I was pleased the entire time, man. It was so much fun. It was so cool watching the Pistons win this game, and I really cannot wait to see what else they do this season. Next game coming up on Friday against the New York Knicks. I believe they're going to be on the road. We'll definitely have a recap for you after that game. Again, if it's any indication of what we saw from tonight, I can't wait to see what the rest of the season has in store for us. Talk to me in the comment section. I would love to hear from you per usual. Let me know your feedback on tonight's game. How did you feel about what the Pistons did? How encouraged do you feel? Who do you think stood out? And do you have an apology to me about Jaylen Durance? Because I tried to tell you. And not all of you. Some of you are smart. Some of you, a lot of you in the comment section were talking to me and saying, yeah, Jaylen Durance looks like the real deal. And we were right together. We were right together. But for those of you who weren't, you owe us apologies, and we waiting for it. Talk to us in the comment section. I'd love to hear from you. Again, like the video, subscribe to the channel so you can stay locked into all the content here for DSN. Make sure you follow us on our social media channels as well. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all the above. Search and follow Detroit Sports Nation. And, of course, give me a follow as well so I can talk to you throughout the season at I am Eric Vincent. I'm telling you, man, it's going to be a really exciting season, and I cannot wait to stay in touch with you all. Make sure you stay locked in with us here, and I'll be right back in due time with another update right here from the DSN News Desk. Peace.